Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is Tuesday, July 25th, 2017, and as you can see, it is a very overcast and heavy cloudy day. We've had rain off and on all day long today, so I just want to show you guys that first. The weather has not cooperated today at all. We've had some pretty good downpours again today, but that's actually good for the garden, so I can't complain about that. I just checked the solar system, and we've pulled in a grand total of 2.6 kilowatt hours today. So not a big solar day, but something in is better than nothing. And you know, it's weird how it works, you know. But like now, the one side is pulled in 1.2, the other side is pulled in 1.4. So it's just you know, what are you gonna do? I mean, but having the extra solar panels up, I'm going to tell you honestly, it has made a huge difference now this year, having them in and having them up higher off the ground and stuff like that. And again, the game plan, I just want to just reiterate this just so you guys know, the game plan is before the winter comes, I want to get another rack set up, get these panels up higher, okay, get the other post in on this grouping of panels, and then underneath, and I'll just come around here and I'll show you real quick. Now I want to have more support for when the snow flies, okay? So what I'm going to do underneath here, like with this part here and on that side there, I want to run some cross bracing underneath and tie it in here and tie it in through the center post as well underneath there, okay? So that when the snow does come, and if it gets on there, and if we don't get a chance to get out here right away to clean it, that it's not going to collapse the system, because it's going to be tied in. If you can see here on the outside, you know how these are. So we'll screw that up with like a 3-inch screw right straight through. I'll use like a another 2x4, and I'll screw that right in to these here, and that'll tie it in better and make it stronger. So that's a game plan as far as the racks go. But so I want to get, like I said, I want to get these ones up higher as well, get the second rack in here, because what I'd like to be able to do is get it so that in the spring I can put in a third rack over here, so I can have 2 more racks right in here, be able to hopefully before the winter comes get 2 more panels into this one, get these panels up, and then when the spring comes, look at adding a third rack in so that everything ties together then, and we can just add on more panels in the spring, because that's, you know, hopefully after tax time I can add another 1,000 watts or so. So that's kind of the game plan as far as my thinking goes. At least adding 2 more panels on this year to put us up over 3,000 watts for this year. That was the goal, was to double the solar this year, to go from 1,500 watts to over 3,000 watts. And like I say, right now we're at 2,520 watts. So I add 2 more 255 watt panels this year. That takes us over 3,000 watts. I would really be happy with that kind of progress for the year, having doubled everything. You know, next year, if I can add another 1,000 watts in the spring, and then kind of just go from there, with a third rack in, I can be over 4,500 watts total. I get to that point, I think I'm going to be in pretty decent shape, and then we'll just kind of see how it goes. But I just kind of wanted to explain the game plan of what we're going to do here with the solar panels, okay? So Heather and I came out yesterday, and we were hitting the weeds out of this area here, and then we took all the weeds and stuff that we pulled out of here and had Eddie take them over and throw them into the composting bin. So, because it was like right up against the garden, and I didn't like that. So what I've had to do too with the garden, because the tomato plants are getting so big, is, I mean, if you can see them, these things are just enormously growing here. If you see the pole right there, I've had to start sticking poles down in, like there's a pole right here, as you can see there, for support. And so then that way we can start, you know, because like I said, they were starting to tip over because they're getting so big, so I've had to do that. But if you look here, got the tomatoes are growing there. There's tomatoes right there. There's tomatoes down there. We got tomatoes here. They're here. You know, they're down here. They're starting to really grow. Now if you look down here, there's some freaking big tomatoes down here at the bottom. So, and then if you look over here, you can see a good sized zucchini. And hopefully you guys can see that. It is right there. If you can see that right there, some nice zucchini right there. So, yeah. So I mean, it's doing well. I mean, and I got to show you this because you guys are gonna love this here. Cucumbers are climbing up now. Okay, there's some cucumber, or, you know, right there because it's just climbing up this way. I was hoping that they would use this fencing on that side to climb up, but they really haven't done that. But yeah, and you can see the tomatoes are doing real well. Okay, so, and then, you know, there is the one of the pepper plants. So, oh, so we ended up, I was weeding and I accidentally pulled up one of the onions already, but the onions are doing real good and it was really tasty. So, you know, things are growing. I mean, they're doing really well. It's been absolutely insane how well it's done this year. So yesterday too, Heather and I were out front here, and I'll take you out over here. And so, okay, I want you to just look up through there, and you can see all the small apples all through here, okay? I mean, the apples here are absolutely freaking loaded. Look at them all. There's a ton of apples on this tree here. And then, like, they're starting to come in here. You can see it right there. Higher up, we got apples. If you look up through here, I mean, here, I'm going to come back here so you can see higher up here. I mean, this is just completely freaking loaded with apples. And here's some more here. So we had, you know, we got some apples have been knocked down already. Smaller ones have fallen off. So Heather and I actually grabbed one yesterday and picked that up and ate the apple. So it was absolutely really good. It was tart, but it was sweet at the same time, if I can explain that. But so yeah, so, you know, it's that's coming together. So, okay, after explaining all that kind of stuff, we've been picking raspberries. Raspberries have been awesome, very delicious. So once these all really come to fruition, the tomatoes and the apples, we're gonna be doing a lot of freaking canning. We're gonna do a lot of canning. So I wanted to talk about too real quick today. So I'm explaining everything else here to you guys. And but what we're gonna do, I wanted to talk about. Somebody had mentioned this, and I thought it would be a good topic. So here later in the video, I'm starting to talk about it finally. But alternative means of transportation. So how important is it to have alternative means of transportation in an S.H.T.F event, and what should you have? Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple different things, and what I think is kind of important to have, and kind of like would be my primary backup. We don't know what is going to happen, when it's going to happen. We don't know if it's going to be some sort of an EMP event, or if we're going to be able to drive vehicles or not be able to drive vehicles. And let's say we were able to drive vehicles, how long would we be able to have gas available to drive those vehicles? So you really got to look at alternative means of transportation. So in my opinion, other than a vehicle, obviously, or unless you have a wood gasifier where you can, you know, hook that up to a vehicle and use something to that effect, okay? Alternative means of transportation, and we're going to use like an EMP as an example. Let's say there was an EMP, okay, and everything is knocked out. You're looking at needing a couple different things, okay? If you can have a pre-1974 vehicle that doesn't have the electronics in it, and that's something that you could use that'll still run after an EMP happened, okay? So that would be really important to have. Now, another thing that I would really highly recommend is having a couple of bicycles. And when I say bicycles, I'm talking more of your mountain bikes, because they're going to be more sturdy and stand up to whatever kind of traveling that you would have to do. Having a lot of extra inner tubes for in case you got a flat or something like that. Because if you just got the 2 tires on there and you get your first flat, now you're out of transportation. But you can cover a lot of ground on a bicycle in a short period of time. So I think having some form of a bicycle, if you could have some kind of carry thing for the back of it, I know that they have like the things that'll hook right up to the bicycle that you can pack a whole bunch of stuff into there. Those would be something that'd be good to have, because then you could really load up that and carry a lot of gear or whatever with you. And again, that all depends on how the roads are, if you can get things are passable and stuff like that. But a bicycle would be really, really good because of the fact you can travel quite a bit further than, say, walking or something like that. Now, obviously, other modes of transportation would be like a horse or something to that effect. I'm sorry, I'm petting a cat while I'm talking to you. There's a lot of horses out there. A lot of people have horses, so there's another form of transportation. But again, now you're talking about having to feed that horse and taking care of things in that aspect as well. So that's kind of, a lot of people have horses, which are cool. But again, how long is the feed going to last? What kind of feed do you have? The maintenance and care of the horses, and then having saddles and everything else too. But again, it's another option. I kind of, like I said, I see things going to the way, if it was a worst case scenario and if it was an EMP type of thing, you're looking at a lot of your older vehicles, a lot of their, like I say, pre-1974 vehicles would still be running. So I guess Jay Leno would be all set, right, guys? But anyway, so you'd have those. And again, like having a bicycle would probably be the best thing to have, or a couple of bicycles. Lots of extra inner tubes, lots of extra tires and stuff like that, and parts that you would need, for those bicycles to maintain them, to make sure that they're good. And realistically, riding a bike now is really decent exercise. So, I mean, even if you got out there and you put in 5 or 10 miles 3 times a week, on a bicycle, it's going to build up your tolerance for it, it's going to build up your strength, and get you to a point where, first of all, you're going to be healthier. And so that's actually a freaking really good thing too. And so that to me, I like I said, my number one thing would be definitely having a bicycle, extra tires and stuff like that. I have 2 bicycles here. I definitely do need to, upgrade as far as getting decent tires, especially on the one that I have, and you know, like that. So just, but it's everything comes down to, guys, is really cost, what you can afford. I mean, if you can afford to have horses and you like horses, that would be a great means of transportation. But long haul, long trips, you're gonna get better out of the freaking bicycle than you would out of the horse. Horse is gonna be great for traveling as far as things go as well, and you could set up a cart and have the horse pull on a cart too, which means you'd be able to pull a lot more stuff. But then again, there's always the maintenance and the care of the horse. When I'm done with a bicycle, I can set the bicycle there and it's going to wait for me till the next morning, and it'll be fine. So I really think it's important, as far as part of your SHTF preparations, is to have bicycles. Because I think that is something, I mean, the roadways are there, they're already all in place. So it's a matter of, if you needed to, get to town and want to get back within the same day, like say if you're 10 or 12 miles away from town, on a bicycle, that's real feasible in a short period of time. And even if you have like a carry thing behind it, like a cart or something like that that you have hooked up, you might not be able to travel as fast, but you can travel that a lot faster than you can walking. So I think that would be something that would be really, really good to have, okay? So that's kind of more the main focus as far as I would consider that you would want to have. But it's a good means of transportation. And again, even if it's not an EMP event, eventually the cars are not going to be running. You're not going to have gasoline, okay? So, I mean, within inside of 2 years, unless you have a refinery and know how to refine gasoline, you would be looking at having wood gasifiers and other alternative means of transportation that way, you know, and a lot of people would be traveling by horse or donkey or mule or whatever that they had, you know, and I think bicycles would be a huge part of that. I think that would be a really good thing to have. So I just want to talk about that a little bit, share my thoughts with you, and I really want to hear your guys' thoughts on that topic because I think that's important. It gives us ideas and bounces other thoughts off, and whatever you guys think that you should have as far as alternative means of transportation in an S.H.T.F event. So I don't know what my neighbor sounds like he's chainsawing over there. So I mean, you've been hearing that the whole time, but yeah, I think he's been chainsawing or weed whacking, one of the two. Because that kind of sounds similar. But anyway, so really kind of colder here today at the homestead. Just kind of a blah day. Tomorrow's supposed to be 80, so it'll be a little bit better. But and weather this year, I'm telling you, we've had so much rain. I think we're like 20 plus inches above normal this year. So it's been crazy as far as the rain goes. But the garden seems to love it, right? Look at that. Freaking thing's gone absolutely nuts this year, which is awesome. It's going to be much bigger next year, definitely. So anyway, guys, listen, I am going to jump off of here for now. Remember, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every day because tomorrow's not guaranteed. And remember, guys, STD, it's really, really important. One step at a time, one thing at a time, one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, excuse me, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from accomplishing that goal is yourself. And I'm going to tell you what, I don't just say this on here, okay? I tell this to people all the time. I tell everybody that. You want to be successful? It's up to you. You're the only one stopping yourself. And people that, you know, want to use, well, because I'm from a poor neighborhood and I didn't have a chance and blah, 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 blah. That's crap, guys. That's excuses. And, you know, everybody has them just like everybody has a-holes. You know what I'm saying? You want to have excuses for why you're not successful? I don't want to hear it. I really, truly don't because, you know, you can do whatever you want to do. I honestly believe and I have faith in all of you that you can accomplish your goals. But the thing is, the only one that's going to stop you from that is you, okay? So persevere, drive on, get to where you want to be. Be successful and don't listen to negativity. Negativity breeds negativity, okay? Negative people want to have you down on their level because they've already given up, you know, and they're unhappy, miserable people. And, you know, make a choice. Choose to be happy, okay? Anyway, guys, listen, I will talk to you all tomorrow. And like I said, I really want your feedback on this. What do you think are better means of alternative transportation in an S.H.T.F situation? Let me hear your thoughts, okay? I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.